Well, hello. Yes, this is Sandi Ballard, your host, once again, of the No More Excuses Monday Motivation Podcast. If you can hear a little weird kind of echo in the background, it is raining on my skylights. And it hasn't rained like this in quite a while here in Indy. But anyway, just in case you can hear that. What do I do? If you are unfamiliar with me, I help people grow personally and professionally. I help them see past the chaos, the fear, and the frustration so they can help themselves achieve their success. My website, www.growingforward.biz. Find me, my business Facebook page, Growing Forward Success Coaching. LinkedIn, obviously Sandi with an I, Ballard. And Twitter, SLBallard13, because 13 is my favorite number. This week, I want to refer back to about a month ago to podcast 53, which was on April 3rd. You know, did you make your list? Did you look at what you've been doing differently? It's been a month now. You should have some notes on what's been happening. How did you feel? Checking your progress. Focus. It's been the theme for the last few podcasts, but what has happened in the last month, and are you taking the time to go back, and if this is your first time listening, please go back to podcast 53 and listen to that one, and then come back, but then listen progressively to this one. So taking the time to look back at what you weren't doing, what's not getting done, making that list, checking the progress is huge. I mean, there's really no way you can keep going on with life until you understand what the hell is not working. So, because you don't always realize what's going on or why when you're in the middle of the madness or the shitstorm, as I like to say. So taking notes can help you reflect on that. It can help you just sit down and think through it. It can also help you see what you're doing that's not helping and how you can do things a little differently or do something different. As I was just talking with a client, you can only drive into the brick wall so many times because, you just don't get it until you realize you can, and you are allowed to steer a little bit off your path to go around the wall. So unless you sit down and take time and look at that, you don't realize you're hitting the freaking brick wall again. So taking that time, and you got to reach your goals, and helping and seeing what's not getting done will help you revisit and kind of reformulate your plan, make adjustments. I recently had a client who was wanting to really focus on one specific area of his business. He knew if he focused on this one and got rid of some other things that he was doing, he could elevate his business, which is really helping other people as well. But he didn't realize, he knew he was doing stuff that was not a good use of his time. Someone else, he has two other people in his office, but he wasn't sure who to delegate to or how or what until he made this list. So I suggested making the list. And, he's got to figure out what's a good use of his time. And then instead, what he'd been doing is he would be in the middle of doing a task or taking care of some paperwork and then thinking, okay, so-and-so should be doing this, or this is not a good use of my time. But he would still finish it and go on. And then, so making this list, writing down what he's doing at the moment, just making a note saying, okay, I'm doing X, Y, Z, and I think so-and-so can do this instead of me. Not that it's beneath him or below him, it's just not a good use of his time. To elevate his business, he's got to get rid of some of these tasks that's keeping him from achieving his goals and helping his clients grow as well. So you got to look at that so you can determine what to delegate and who to delegate to. So we met again after giving him a couple weeks to work on this list. And he started the list, and many times he said he'd still forget to write it down. But taking the time at the end of the day to go think back, to reflect on what worked, what didn't work, what he did, because by the end of the day you can still take time. You can remember, oh, okay, I was doing this and that would be good for so and so. So that really helped him determine those things. He, in making this list will help you, find out what you're doing, what you're not doing. So what did he find out? What are his next steps? That's what we talked about. And we talked through the list, and what he's now going to do is he's going to rewrite his 2 staff person's job description, because he knows he wants one person specifically to focus on one area of the business that will help him elevate his clients. Well, she can't do that if he's doing these things, and she can't do that if she's doing other things. So rewriting job descriptions, really creating those boundaries and expectations, and then providing opportunity to build upon the strengths of both of his staff people. And it did align, actually, when we talked through the restructure or the remodel of his business. It aligned with what their personal goals were within the business. So what do you do with all this? You can find time, you find possibilities, you create possibilities. And now he's going to not only help himself, his staff, he's going to better be able to serve his clients. And yes, there's always exceptions. Somebody's going to be sick, vacation, out of office, needs help, leaves. We don't want that. So we're trying to work through all of that. But there are always exceptions to where, actually during this time when we were meeting and talking, his daughter's car broke down. And he had to reschedule our appointment. That threw his whole day off. That is when, things go sideways. When that's the exception. That's when one call will set your day off. But creating that list, creating the plan, I talk about plans a lot, will help you know, okay, tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do. But, if you have the processes, the procedures, a plan in place, a simple pause at a yield sign, a slight delay like his daughter's car breaking down, versus one of those big honking wide speed bumps that can break your car. The process, procedures, and plans can help you get back on track. Okay, and then you got to put a time check in place. So with this new process that we're talking through with him, or not new process. Well, it is processes, but the new, remodel of his house, his business, you got to put a time check in place. So anything you're doing, any sort of new habit, we talked last week about habits, it takes, depending on what you're trying to do differently, it takes time. Some things you can pick up right away, some things are going to take forever. Not forever, but a much longer time. I'm going to correct myself there. But so putting in a good time check in place to check your progress. So 3 months, say, what's good, what's bad, what's working, what's not working. Make any necessary adjustments. And this would be called evaluating your business, right? Some of us have evaluations at work. And, if you have staff, partners, collaborators, this includes them as well. Not just you thinking about all of this. You need to think about it, but then also include them. You can't throw new paint on a house with rotted wood or termites and expect it to stand. Eventually, it's going to rot from the inside out. So you got to rebuild. And even if you're a solo entrepreneur like myself, that's still, is relevant to you. It means you have to work on yourself, your own personal policies and procedures and processes, your health, your habits, what you can and can't do, and what you could or should be delegating if you're looking to grow into having staff or a team of some sort. And if you want to stay a solo entrepreneur, like I probably will, it's about how to maximize what you can handle alone. Focusing on what you're really good at, what brings the most joy to you and your business. And no matter what, if you're a solo entrepreneur, if you have staff or you work for someone, remember it does boil down to you and your abilities and your focus. Focusing on what you're good at, focusing on what will help you accomplish your goals and achieve your success. Yes, I mean, people say all the time, "Oh, you're so lucky. You don't have any boss. You're your own boss." No, every single client is my boss. So whether you work for someone or not, we all have bosses, quote unquote, right? It's a matter of how you take advantage of the things in your life. And yes, we're all going to screw up. We're going to hit a wall. But one of my posts last week referred to treating goals like a scientist. If something doesn't work, it creates the opportunity for improvement. So this week, I want you to really sit down and think, make a list, what's working, not working, what you love and despise about to do, pros and cons, right? And we got to tackle this fear. I've got a great post this week, so watch my posts. It's about getting rid of fear. So it's May 1st, 244 days left in the year. How will you use them to the best of your ability, to your advantage? What will you do? What will you do? And so at the end of the year, you will say, hell yes, this year kicked ass. Have a great week, and I look forward to hearing from you. Ballard@growingforward.biz. And if you can't figure it out, for the love of God, contact me or another coach. Stop waiting and start living your life to the fullest. Cheers.